very octagonal and very sharp-edged design. And the reason for that is because you have to click on the watch, right? So the instrument, so it has to go down like this and down like this. We don't have a heritage. We don't origin from 1750 or 1850 or anything like that. And we are a forward-looking company, and we want to be modern or contemporary or whatever the word is. And the combination of mechanical and digital and sports instruments is unusual and is new. So it sort of it goes within, and then we are Danish, and Danish is modern design. Yeah. And also Danish design is functional, and that is, we want to make beautiful timepieces, but there has to be a functional element into it. So for us, it's a balance between the case design, the movement, and what's around it, and obviously that we have to add the instrument. So if people think it looks a bit like an AP or an Hublot, well, that's because it's a certain category of watches. But if you put the two together, you will see they're quite different. So 5 to 15 is the range where we feel that we can put enough of ourselves in to make a very particular watch. I think if you go above 15, right, let's say 20, 25, or 50, or 100, then you probably need more. Then you become a watchmaker who have created a brand. And we're more like I'm not a watchmaker, and Morten is not a watchmaker, and we come a bit outside into the industry. So one of the things that we have been doing is first we started out with sort of fairly standard movements, and we have then changed that. We've done movement with Sven Andersen. So we actually, it's almost like we are tapping into resources in the industry of watchmakers, but we're not pretending that we are watchmakers, right? And maybe later on as we move forward, we can get the credibility over the years. But I think also as you build a company, it's almost like an onion. You just add layers and layers and layers and layers, and you have to be honest. I think you have to be honest to the customer. I shouldn't say this. Most people, they start out, if they can afford it, with a Tag Heuer or Rolex or something which is extremely well known, because then they can get sort of that credibility from their friends, right? I can afford this. Look at me. And then you graduate, further and further, and you get more and more into sort of more particular watches. Then you develop a taste, right? You develop a preference, and you like certain stories. So, I mean, luckily, what we see is, a lot of our customers have what I would call, good taste, right? Because there are a lot of watches that are not very nice out there, but there are also a lot of watches that are very nice. And what we see customers is that they have some of them very nice watches in the market. And I'm very pleased with that. And we only make series. So this year I think we'll probably make about 500 pieces. And when we expand, I think we can only expand with maybe doubling our capacity a year, because each series has to be thought through, it has to be manufactured, and it takes time, and it has to be a certain integrity into it, and quality, and idea. Sure. I think luxury goods is it is innovation, integrity, authenticity, quality, and all those things, right? That sort of was, had gone, for a while, which is now coming back into the luxury goods. I wouldn't like to call them gimmicks, because, you got an instrument here for diving, and you got one for extreme skiing. When you go diving, you can't dive with a dive watch. You have to have a dive computer. And I mean, we're just launching this now, but we've had a lot of interest from professional divers and some of the big dive companies, because this is the only computer that can dive, and this is watertight to 300 meters, and basically does everything that you want for a dive. So this is probably the best dive instrument in the market. 50 years, maybe. In 2 years, absolutely not. Yeah. I think it's just one of those things that people grab after because they want credibility. And I think what, as I said before, what we've done with Sven Andersen and what we're working with other people on, and also having PK movements inside. We're using other people, using is not the right word, but we're partnering with other people who have that particular skill, and we sell it as such, right? It's not Jorn Werdelin, the newly made watchmaker, who's got a great idea. It's Jorn and Morten who can do certain things, and then partnering with a watchmaker who is, Sven Andersen. He's been making fantastic watches for what is more than 40 years, and it doesn't come much better than that. It comes back to us wanting to create a universe, right? And already by having Swiss-made watches, I mean, and these watches are made in Geneva, or entirely Swiss-made, and then having instruments which we entirely make in Denmark, which we assemble at our own factory. We are stepping out of the mold, and we're a small company. We don't have tons of money, so we have to communicate and sort of almost entertain our prospective customer in a different way. And I think the traditional way of sort of lecturing to your customer, I don't really like that. I mean, I think what we're doing now is effectively us communicating very directly to people who are customers or could potentially be customers or are just interested, and that's what we like to do. So coming back to the boundaries, I think that's a very it's a very interesting, it's a different, it's sort of non-luxury type, but it's also very artistic, right? And it has to do with craftsmanship, and therefore when you think about it, arts, craftsmanship, individual personality, something that links back to us, right, and something that nobody else does, it goes straight back into our products. Hence, the tattoo, where we took something from one of the drawings and inspired by that, did a tattoo on the watch. So it's a circle, right?